Good evening, those who are about to gather wool, and welcome to part 8 of our top 10 albums that influenced our musical tastes. So far, if you've been playing along, you've gotten 21 records that you need to check out. Well, yeah, different. Nope, 20. Sorry. We had one crossover so far. So 20 records you need to check out. Tonight, you're going to get 3 more in part 8. And then we just have 2 days left to go. You guys feeling the end coming?
Yeah,
It's been fun.
I'm excited. We've only crossed the streams like one time. That's shocking.
That is true.
Yes, indeed.
Will it happen again today?
Look, I guess we're going to find out.
That's right.
All right. Well, as usual, the metalhead goes first because he
As
begged.
it
He said,
should be.
Please. He said, please let me go first. Let me go. I said, all right.
I know.
We're begging.
We just couldn't take it anymore.
So we cross over with an artist here, but not the same release. So
Yes.
9 Inch Nails, after Pretty Hate Machine, that's been well documented. They went on tour with that first Lollapalooza tour, and the live band got real kind of heavy, gritty, dirty, whatever you want to call it, more guitar driven. And Trent wanted to bring that energy into a recording. So then we end up with the Broken EP. And this is kind of where I came into 9 Inch Nails. I don't recall hearing anything off of Pretty Hate Machine before I heard this. And the Wish video was the first thing I saw. And I mean, I keep saying it, but at this time, this is my teenage years. I'm finding my own music, and I just kept seeing things. And I'm like, what is this? Why have I never heard anything like this before? It just kept blowing my mind and expanding my horizons. And man, that Wish video and all the heavily processed guitars and drums.
Yeah.
And just it made me seek it out, and I just instantly fell in love with 9 Inch Nails. And I've been a fan of, I will say, most things that Trent has done since then. The Ghost stuff kind of gets a little out there in the weeds sometimes, but other than that, man, I always look forward to new stuff from 9 Inch Nails.
Good
Yeah.
record.
Yeah, for sure. He also, that was the first one. I could go on and on about this, so I'll keep it short. But that was the first one on Interscope. He was switching off of TVT, and he was extremely pissed over his record contract. So
yeah,
I think that added to bringing those live guitars in, and his anger from where everything was at.
Oh yeah.
And but I am curious to go backwards when you hear Broken, and then you go, "Oh, I'm going to check out Pretty Hate Machine." Is that like you're expecting all these guitars and things?
Not really, because when you start listening to Pretty Hate Machine, the first song is Head Like a Hole.
Yeah, true.
So it's pretty angry. I mean, it's not the same as Broken, but there's a lot of anger, a lot of energy there, and there is some, guitar. You got that heavy chorus and him kind of yelling, screaming.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true.
Plus that video also, they just look insane. So I'm like,
yeah. That Wish video, I literally saw it and then went and bought fishnet stockings and wore those. I remember coming home, my dad was probably questioning why he sent me off to go do art at school, because I came home in like combat boots, fishnet stockings, a skirt, and something else. And
there you go.
He was silent, but he accepted me. So that's good.
My biggest regret for 9 Inch Nails is that collaboration with Grant Morrison never happened.
Oh yeah. My biggest regret is that the collaboration with Tool with Maynard never happened.
Oh yeah.
But
yes, there's still time, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
All right. Number 8 for me. Smashing Pumpkins. Siamese Dream. I really lied. It should have been Gish. and I put it in there because I think I just naturally go to Siamese Dream because it's one of my favorite records of all time. It's one of those I call my perfect records where you just listen to every song every time. There's never a skip. But I think Gish probably would be more appropriate there because when that record came out, there was nobody who sounded anything like them. And it was coming out against the Seattle sound. And there was so much grunge that all sounded. I don't want to say, I don't want to be in that camp where it all sounds the same because it didn't. But there was definitely a distinctive sound that came out of there. And they were so very different. And I think like Gish, and then this was like a more mature version. They found that sound, that groove, and I just loved it from the very beginning. And of course, you guys know this is my favorite bands, and he still does good stuff, and he could do no wrong, but that kind of thing. But those drums, those layered guitars, for me, that is something that definitely influenced the next 30 years of my listening. So there you have it.
Yeah. Smashing Pumpkins is, that's a band that I am definitely not as into them as you are, but it's whenever you hear Billy Corgan, like you're going to pay attention.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether he's singing or whether it's that guitar tone or whatever. And, the dude can write a song. So it's,
Hey, you saw the image I sent you, right? In the text?
Yes.
August 2nd. That's their next album. And they're not releasing anything beforehand. They're doing it all in one day.
Cool.
And this was the one that they wrote while they were writing Autumn, which was 33 songs.
Geez. Yes.
So they were finishing that, and he was like putting that out there one song at a time on a podcast. And during that time, he and Jimmy Chamberlain got in the studio and ripped out another record. So that's August.
Yeah. So did you hear Gish or Siamese Dream first?
Oh, Gish.
Okay.
Yeah, and I saw him in Bloomington when they were nobodies.
When they were touring that? Okay.
Yeah. So,
nice.
And that was it. I mean, that was like, that's my thing now. So,
yeah, they're still so good live too. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Always enjoy seeing them live. Okay, you ready, Teabags?
I think so.
But are we ready for Teabags? That's
no,
that is always the question. Yes. Tool Undertow. So this was one of those speaking of videos, Jeremy, and when you would see like Sober come on or Prison Sex. I don't even know if they could even show that one. I can't even remember. But just and the artistry behind even that, having the claymation style stuff going, but going to the album, it was heavy in a different way for me. It was, there was just so many different things to dig into on the album, and this is where I really fell in love with Maynard's voice too. But then as I started to get past the initial infatuation phase just with what I was hearing, you start to learn like every single person in this band makes this band good. Sometimes you can replace a guitarist and sometimes you can replace a drummer, but Tool is one of those bands that you just can't do that with. They're each as important as the next person in the band, and that proved to be true as they went on with their career as well. But man,
they did replace one early, didn't they?
They replaced their bassist. Yeah,
Paul Diamore.
Yeah.
And that was pretty early on, though, right?
That was around this time, I think, right? That he was replaced.
He was, I want to say he was on this album. I actually saw something about him recently. It wasn't an entire interview, but it was a quote. It was like a headline, and I saw the quote, and he said something about one of the main reasons he left Tool is because it took so long in between albums. And he's like, there's no reason it should be that way. So he's like, I got to get out of here and be creative and go do something different. So
he's not wrong.
But we got Justin Chancellor out of that. So
yes.
Yeah, we got that. And then also that whole, how long it takes them, was able to have a spinoff for Maynard with Pucifer and Perfect Circle. So for me, kind of worked out. So, Anyway, yeah, it was a pretty heavy album for the time,
Mhm.
and at least like kind of dark in its own weird way. And I loved it, still do.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think that when I said about Gish, I think that I kind of felt like that way about Tool too. They sounded so very different from everybody.
Mhm.
Which, when you hear unique music like that, it's so cool.
Yes, good times.
Good times. There we did it, boys. That was it. That was number 8.
Gosh, yeah,
20.
we're flying through 'em.
3 different. I know only 2 days to go. So we will be back tomorrow, Thursday, with another installment of our top 10 albums that you must hear. Pretty good, pretty tasty albums. And we have 2 more to go. So check us out. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and give us some feedback. We'd love to hear what people think. We'd love to hear you comment on the shows.
Yeah.
Tell us what your favorite albums are. We'd love to hear it. All right, gentlemen, I will see you tomorrow for another recording.
Sounds good.
All right, let's go out of here with a little bit of Phoenix Supernova, Juno 19.
Nice.
Bye now.
Yes.